Viewmasters, it's the podcast that we do. Viewmasters, talk about movies that we view. Viewmasters, my friend Eric and me, Joe. Viewmasters, hey, let's start the show.
Hey, welcome to the Viewmasters, episode 326. Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid. I'm Joe LaForce.
And I'm Lord Baltimore.
Nice to see you, Lord.
Thank you, Joe.
That's nice. My name's Joe.
My name is Eric.
Hello, Eric.
Hello, Joe.
Joe LaForce and Lord Baltimore have no lines in the movie.
Nope.
But are very important characters.
They are. I don't believe even seen on in close-up anyway.
Not at all.
Yeah. At one point, Joe LaForce is pointed out by wearing a white hat.
Yes.
And God bless whoever could have seen that, because I sure didn't.
Yeah, it occurred to me that in the olden times, was everyone's eyesight just better?
Probably.
So they could see things really far away?
I would not be surprised after, my last pick that evolution has probably screwed us. And as we consume more electronic media over the ages, our eyesights probably have all gotten worse.
Well,
collectively.
Shouldn't our bodies have evolved then so that we are all permanently, wearing glasses or something to correct our eyesight? I think that's what Crimes of the Future was saying would happen, right?
True. Yeah, okay. All right, there's a flaw in my theory, sure.
Is the flaw in your theory? Or is it in Crimes of the Future inherently?
Both.
Okay. Fair compromise. Oh, Butch and Sundance. Have you seen this before?
Yes, I have.
Okay.
I was trying to think of when. And if I had to wager a guess, I would say 10 or 11.
Wow, okay.
It's been a while.
Yeah.
And yeah, for some reason in my head, I always held this as like one of the best movies I'd ever seen in my life.
Okay. All right.
From that one viewing.
Sure, that's fair.
Yeah. Spoiler, still kind of holds up.
It's a good movie. Yeah, I'd never seen it before. I really enjoyed it. Now, I know when I was a kid, movies where the main characters died at the end,
right? In
my head were like, those are prestige movies. Those aren't the best movies. Is that maybe why you thought that this was one of the best movies ever made?
No.
No? Okay.
No. Yeah. I just remember enjoying just the experience of watching it.
Okay.
And for some reason, the bicycle ride scene just really stood out to me as a kid. With raindrops keep falling on my head playing.
Sure.
And just having a hard quotes here, modern song.
Sure.
Which was probably 30 years old at that time anyway.
Yeah, but modern for the time.
Sure, yeah. Playing over a Western.
Uh-huh.
It blew my mind.
Yeah, that's reasonable.
I was never a Western fan as a kid, even though I hugely loved bless you.
Thank you, sorry.
Zorro and the Lone Ranger, but like actual Western films were never really my thing.
Okay.
Because I just had sort of the stereotypical view of what they are.
Yeah.
And this was not that.
Yeah, it doesn't feel like a Western.
Yeah.
Or it doesn't feel like what I think of when I think of a Western.
Right.
It's funny.
It is very funny.
I don't think of Westerns as having any sort of sense of humor.
as I've apparently learned from various podcasts, apparently The Searchers has a comedy subplot.
Oh, does it? Okay. All right. I think maybe I was supposed to watch that for a class in college, and I never did. Or no, Stagecoach is the one I'm thinking of.
Okay.
That I never watched. Because I was like, that's a Western, fuck that. I don't know, maybe it's not a Western. It's called Stagecoach, I assume it's a Western.
I would also assume it's a Western.
Yeah.
And for some reason I feel like it's like a musical Western?
I have no idea.
I don't know.
And probably we'll never know.
I mean, it's probably not Paint Your Wagon.
Well, what is?
Which is a musical Western.
Right.
With Clint Eastwood.
Is it with Clint Eastwood? Wow.
Yep.
Amazing.
Mainly the reason I know that is because I just watched the episode of The Simpsons that referenced it the other day.
For a long time I didn't know that Paint Your Wagon was an actual movie. I just knew it from The Simpsons. I was like, well, this is a shitty thing that they made up, and it's hilarious.
Nope, it's real.
It's, the history is an interesting time.
Yes, it is.
History is an interesting time. Nuggets of wisdom like this and more from the Viewmasters. I'm tired. I'm real tired.
Same.
Did you fall asleep during this?
A little bit.
I thought you might have.
Yeah. Some of the montages.
Yeah.
Yeah. It just seemed to go on a long time.
The montages, I mean, there's not a lot of them, but the ones that are in there are very long.
Yeah.
Often with just still photographs.
Yep, no dialogue.
Yeah.
One of the few times that music actually plays in this movie.
Yes.
That's not diegetic music, anyway.
Yeah.
Which is actually another thing that I really like about this movie.
Really like that, too.
Is that there is no swelling score throughout, as they ride through the vistas and et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah, it's just the sound of horse hooves clomping.
Yep.
Poor horses.
Yeah, not treated well.
Yeah.
Yeah, just sort of, must be rough for a recently turned vegetarian / animal lover.
I've always been an animal lover.
Well, the vegetarian part.
Okay, gotcha.
Yes.
Gotcha. Yeah, I mean, it's just I feel like I'm more aware of things like that. Yeah, I have no idea when conditions for animals in movies improved, but I imagine they probably weren't super great.
Yeah, probably not.
This was the 70s, right?
69 is 69. When this came out.
Nice.
Yeah.
But yeah, again, I can imagine they probably weren't great at the time, so I feel bad for the horses.
Yeah. I mean, I would not be surprised to learn that some of them died
Probably.
during the filming of this movie.
Would also not be surprised.
Also, would not be surprised to learn that the donkey at the end was actually branded.
Yeah, probably. Oof. Oof, that's a bummer. And also fucking sloppy work on Butch and Sundance's part.
Right?
Just walking around with a branded animal that they stole. Oof.
Butch is supposed to be smart.
Butch is supposed to be smart.
He should have caught that shit.
Yeah. Yeah, this movie wasn't what I expected it to be. I don't know what I expected it to be, but this was not it.
All right.
For one thing, I know. Last week when you picked it, I referred to the jumping off of the mountain, or jumping off of the cliff, or whatever. In my head, that was the end of the movie. So when there was a whole hour more of the movie after that, I was like, oh well, I clearly have no idea. I do not know what's happening here.
So in the 30-some years that had been since I'd seen it, I definitely forgot quite a lot of it.
Yeah.
I did remember the cliff jumping scene, if you will. And I, too, would have thought that was the end, but I knew the end.
Okay.
I just thought they were much closer in scope together.
Gotcha.
And not, an entire act break.
Yeah. I think maybe I was thinking of Thelma and Louise, probably.
Another masterpiece.
Yeah.
Where the characters die at the end.
Exactly, by going off a cliff, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Like Butch and Sundance clasp hands and jump off a cliff.
I thought that they did clasp hands
Yeah.
and jump off the cliff, but they do not.
Yeah.
They just sort of jump at the same time. But
they're holding onto a belt, if I remember right, because Sundance can't swim.
Right.
So Butch has to hang on to him to sort of drag him along.
Yeah.
But yeah,
So how did you know that scene? Like,
I don't know.
Okay.
Honestly, I do not know how I knew that.
Okay.
Other than there may be a reference to it in an episode of The West Wing.
Okay.
I remember specifically the fall will probably kill you, or
Right.
whatever the line is.
Yeah.
Being a thing that is said in that episode. But I don't remember if that was specifically like they say this is from Butch and Sundance,
Right.
or I just read afterwards that it's a reference to that scene. So yeah, I don't know. There's also, like I said, just sort of cultural osmosis. You pick things up.
Sure. My most distinct memory of this movie is the ending, which, spoiler, ends with the characters dying.
Right.
Essentially.
Yeah.
They are in a shootout. The entire Bolivian army essentially shows up to kill them.
Yeah.
And they run out of their hiding place firing and clearly outnumbered, outgunned, die.
Yes.
And ends on a still shot with somebody yelling over the still, "Fuego! Fuego!"
Yeah.
And my mom saying, they don't mean that there's a fire.
That's good. That's a good clarification.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you, Eric's mom, for clarifying that. I mean, Butch and Sundance might have heard that and thought that was what it meant.
Maybe, yeah.
Not understanding the language as they do. Yeah, that was an interesting way to end the movie.
Right.
Yeah, I don't know anything about
The
actual Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid, so I know it says that most of the events are true, but I have no idea if that's actually reality or not.
I mean, there is clearly artistic license.
Yeah.
But, I guess the broad strokes could be true.
Yeah.
They probably, they were outlaws. They were wanted. They probably fled. I'm sure somebody...
To Bolivia?
Well, I'm sure somebody knows exactly where they died, right?
Yeah, probably.
So,
yeah. Oh. Yeah, I feel like I'm still sort of processing the movie.
Yeah.
But I also sort of feel like I don't know what to really say about it. Like, everybody's great in it.
Yeah.
Like, obviously, I mean, Robert Redford, this is maybe the third or fourth Robert Redford movie that I've seen, and only the second one where he's young.
Mm-hmm.
The other one being All the President's Men, and then the other two being Marvel movies.
Captain America: Winter Soldier.
Uh-huh.
Is he in Endgame?
He's in Endgame.
Okay,
Yes.
right.
Yeah, very briefly.
I've seen a couple of his movies, I think. Sneakers comes to mind immediately.
Yeah.
Which I would highly recommend.
All right.
It's very enjoyable.
Nice.
Sort of late middle-aged Robert Redford.
Okay.
I guess.
Yeah. Is it from the 80s?
Early 90s.
Early 90s, okay.
Yeah.
Is he a shoe salesman?
No,
okay.
It has nothing to do with shoes.
Well, that's confusing then. Why'd they call it sneakers?
Because they're sneaky.
Oh, it's about people who sneak. Gotcha.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Interesting. I forget sometimes that words can have two meanings. Like fuego. And then Paul Newman. I actually just recently watched Cool Hand Luke for the first time.
Okay.
Which is a pretty good movie.
Yeah, it's fine.
Yeah.
Also has Strother Martin in it.
Who? Is he in this movie?
He is.
Who is he in this movie?
He's their payroll employer.
Oh, okay.
Who is in it for like 2 minutes and
Right.
gets shot.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Who is he in Cool Hand Luke?
I believe he's one of the wardens or something.
Okay.
Or something like that, yeah.
Is he the failure to communicate guy?
That's the guy.
Holy shit. Okay,
Yeah.
gotcha. Now I see it. Gotcha. Iconic. But yeah, so, and then of course I've seen a number of movies with older Paul Newman. The Verdict I really like. And then Road to Perdition I really like. I think it was maybe his last movie. Or towards the end, for sure.
Yeah, towards the end. Yeah.
And then, of course, the salad dressing.
Of
Love
course.
that.
Yeah. Popcorn.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Does he do popcorn too? I didn't know that.
There is Paul Newman popcorn.
Amazing. Yes. I will try that.
And allegedly it all goes to charity.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, the two of them together are great.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, this is a classic movie. Of course, the two of them together are great. But as we're saying, the two of them together are great.
I mean, it's part of the reason why it's a classic.
Yeah.
If they weren't great together, probably not so much of a classic.
Yeah. It's true.
Yeah, they have really good chemistry. I mean, they're both just so pretty to look at.
Uh-huh. They really are.
Of course, Paul Newman, the basis for Hal Jordan.
I forgot about that.
Yep.
Yeah. And Robert Redford, the basis for Alexander Pierce in the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
Yes. And the basis for Brad Pitt.
Okay, I can see that. But yeah, there's just like the banter between the two of them is so good.
Yeah.
And like it doesn't feel like dialogue. It just feels like it's so natural the way that they talk to each other. It's really entertaining.
The whole movie is very naturalistic.
Yeah.
And it's weird because I feel like Robert Redford doesn't really say a lot throughout the entire movie.
Right.
But what he does is often very just witty and often just to Paul Newman.
Yeah.
They just work so well together. If there was a weak link, I'd have to say it's probably the one female with a speaking role in this movie.
Poor Catherine Ross.
And she's fine.
Yeah, she's not very well developed.
Yeah, she's a woman in a movie.
That's true, in a Western
the 60s.
specifically. Yeah.
Playing Etta Candy.
I don't remember what her actual last name was.
I think it was Paige.
That sounds right. This is I noticed when they were getting ready to leave, and we see her like in her full attire or formal wear or whatever. I don't know.
Yeah.
She looked just like Mary Steenburgen as Clara Clayton in Back to the Future Part 3. And which is interesting because they're both teachers.
It's true.
So
yeah.
Is that just the old-timey teacher uniform?
Could be.
Maybe.
Yeah.
For an old maid who's a teacher.
26 years old.
Right?
Just at the bottom of the barrel.
Oh, God.
Just a spinster. Just a hot 26-year-old spinster.
Uh-huh. It's too bad her life is over.
Yep.
I really enjoyed the dynamic between all three of them.
Yeah.
As sort of a throuple kind of thing.
Kinda.
Yeah. That was interesting. I didn't expect that.
I again, just my own memory, I felt like that was more explicit than is actually presented in the movie.
Okay.
But it feels fairly tame now. In my 40s, but
yeah,
it's still there. The dynamic is still there, and they all seem to love and care for each other.
Yeah.
For being murderous outlaws and all.
Yeah. The scene where Etta leaves, I thought was a really good scene.
Yeah.
or at least where she tells them that she's leaving, because we don't actually see her leave.
Right.
But yeah, that was a really, I thought, effective scene.
Yeah.
For the three of them.
That is shortly after they've decided to go straight and then fail.
Right. Well, we tried once.
Work was hard, so we gave up.
I mean, I get that.
Uh-huh.
Why the rate of recidivism is so high. Social commentary.
It's the kind of thing that you can always expect from the Viewmaster.
That's true, damn right.
We are just full of stuff today.
You know what? History is an interesting time. We're full of stuff today.
Yeah.
We sure are, Eric.
Yep. My brain's not working.
No, you know what? Mine isn't either.
You're at least pulling out history is an interesting time and recidivism.
I'm sorry, what?
Whatever word you said.
Just keep thinking, Butch. That's what you're best at.
Cannot be applied to either of us.
I did like. I thought about it while I was watching the movie. Like, part of me wants to know more about the history of those two guys together, but I think as I think about it now, I really like that we don't.
Right.
Like, they're just two buddies. We don't know how they met. Like, I thought, is this going to be like, or is Butch and Sundance the origin,
right,
or like the early years or whatever? But no, they've been together for a long time, and they're best pals, and
yeah,
and I really liked that we just sort of get dropped into the middle of their lives.
Yeah, not everything needs an origin story. Although I'm fairly certain that there is a movie out there called Butch and Sundance, the early years.
Is there really?
I think there is.
Of
yes.
course there is.
Clearly not with Paul Newman and Robert Redford.
Yeah, that'd be weird. I'm gonna look this up now because I need to know. I need to know who plays them.
But one aspect that I really love is that yes, it is implied that they have been friends for a very long time, and yet in the course of this movie, towards the end of their lives and careers, is when they both learn each other's real names.
Okay, Butch and Sundance, the early days, came out in 1979.
All right.
It stars William Catt
Okay.
as the Sundance Kid.
The greatest American hero himself.
Damn right. And Tom Berenger as Butch Cassidy.
I mean, for the late 70s, that's as close as you're going to get to Redford and Newman.
It's true. Also in it, Peter Weller as Joe LaForce.
Ooh.
Yeah. And Christopher Lloyd as Bill Carver.
Nice. All right.
Brian Dennehy as O.C. Hanks.
Oh.
I don't know. And then a few other people. I'm not going to do the whole thing.
All right.
But yeah, so 10 years to make that movie it took.
For some reason, just by you reading the cast list, I would assume that's a TV movie.
Oh, I don't know, actually. Shit, I should have looked. It feels like a TV movie.
Yeah.
Did it go away? No, it's still here. Let's see. It doesn't look like it. Doesn't say it was a TV movie.
Huh.
Yeah. All right.
Well, good for them then.
Yeah.
Who directed it?
Oh, it just came into existence? No. It was directed by Richard Lester
Oh.
of Superman 3.
Yeah.
And I guess Superman 2, technically, as well, part of it.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah.
Interesting. You know what? I'd watch that. It says a prequel of sorts to Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid. What else is it? No, it's not in the same continuity.
No, yeah.
It's a reboot of the Butch and Sundance verse.
Soft reboot.
Yeah.
Like, it could be a prequel, but, you could take it on its own.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. Yeah. there's no sly references to what's going to happen to them.
Right.
So yeah, I was glad it wasn't that.
Yeah.
And that does not feel necessary. 1979. Richard Lester. Yeah, this is real good.
It was.
I don't know. I did notice when they go to Bolivia, a lot of white people down there.
Sure.
That seems weird.
Probably all outlaws themselves.
Every single person in the town.
I'm sure.
Okay. It was nice to see some actual Hispanic people.
Sure.
Towards the end of the movie.
Yeah. Hopefully they were all played by actual Hispanics and not
Hopefully.
just people in brown face.
God, I hope not. Fuck.
As used to be the practice.
Right.
Yeah.
As was the style at the time.
Yep. You know what I'm going to say? It was good to see Ted Cassidy in this movie, not as Lurch. Speaking actual lines.
Is that who that guy was?
That's who that guy was.
Okay. I thought he looked familiar. Speaking of Superman 2, I thought maybe he was Non from Superman 2. But no, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Nice.
So if you've ever watched The Addams Family and said, I wonder what that guy looks like without a shirt.
Uh-huh. I wonder what it would look like to see that guy get kicked in the nuts. Turns out, pretty good.
Yeah, pretty funny.
That whole sequence was spectacular.
Yeah. The whole movie is pretty spectacular.
That's true.
I could probably have done without the montage scenes, and I understand why they were there.
Yeah.
To show some passage of time and without actually showing us what was happening.
Yeah.
Because we don't need a 3-hour movie.
I did think during the sequence where they are like traveling to Bolivia and they go basically across the country to New York.
Yeah.
I was like, if you were a famous outlaw, would you stop and have your picture taken so many times? Wouldn't you try and keep a slightly lower profile?
I mean, back in that time, I'm sure, that kind of thing didn't travel around very quickly. We had no internet back then.
That's true. That's true. But, I mean, they thought that LaForce got word of their crime spree down in Bolivia.
That's true.
How would they have heard about that?
Yeah. It's weird. Whenever I listen to the Dollop, and they always talk about, news traveling, I was like, how?
Yeah.
How does news happening in like a small town in like Indiana travel to Texas?
Yeah. Is that what the newswire is, I assume?
I guess.
Yeah,
I don't know.
They're just telegraphing each other. As I mime telegraphing.
For the listener.
Primarily for you.
Yeah.
Dots, dashes, etc.
Morse code?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, they're doing it in Morse codes. I don't know how you telegraph anything other than with Morse codes.
I don't either.
Yeah.
Stop. No, because
fair. Yeah, I know. But also point taken. I understand.
Real good movie.
That was great.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed it. I could see just having it be a movie that I have on
Yeah.
while I just relax on a Sunday afternoon or any time, really.
It is a pretty relaxing movie for having a very gnarly gunfight at the end.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. I really liked that too. Just the way it was shot.
Yeah.
And like all the quick cuts. It was really, really well done.
Quick cuts, but yet still completely readable.
Yes. Yeah.
You knew exactly what was happening and where everyone was in relation to everyone else.
Yeah. The cuts, I feel like, at least the ones I'm thinking of, like when they're sort of trying to reconvene after Butch has grabbed the bullets, and they're just trying to get into like the barn or whatever.
Yeah.
And there's just like so many quick cuts of all of the people that are shooting at them.
Yeah.
Like that was disorienting, but on purpose.
Yeah.
And just used for a storytelling reason other than not just quick cuts to hide nonsense or whatever.
Yeah.
So yeah, really, really well done.
It reminds me of, have you ever seen the movie Any Given Sunday?
Oh, it's been a really long time. Yes.
I remember watching that and just at one point deciding to count how many seconds it was between cuts.
Okay.
For like every scene. And it was like a scene of, it's just like Al Pacino and somebody else like walking down a hallway.
Yeah.
But there was a cut every 3 seconds. It's like, why? Stop.
That movie clearly not shot by Aaron Sorkin or Thomas Schlamme.
Nope. I don't know who that second guy is, but nope.
He was a director on Sports Night in the West Wing.
Okay.
One of the inventors of the walk and talk.
Okay, all right. Yeah, I think it was just Oliver Stone trying something.
Yeah,
and failing. Go back to The Hand, Oliver Stone.
What is that?
It's his first movie.
Okay.
Starring Michael Caine.
Okay.
About a comic book artist who loses his hand in a horrible car accident.
Oh yeah, you have told me about this. Now that you mention it, did not realize that Oliver Stone directed that.
Yep.
Okay.
And then the hand comes back to life and haunts him.
Nice.
Or does it?
Is it Idle Hands? Is that another movie with a hand that comes back to life?
That is another movie.
Yeah, is it a sequel to this?
No.
No? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
But also, if you just want to see some nice Barry Windsor Smith art, check out The Hand by Oliver Stone.
Nice. What year was that?
Early 80s?
Early 80s? Okay.
82, maybe?
Nice.
Yeah.
I watched another movie from 1982 recently called Death Trap. Have you seen that?
Not familiar by name.
It's Michael Caine and Christopher Reeve.
Oh, okay.
And I forget who Michael Caine's wife is in the movie. But yeah, it's like a sort of a thriller. Michael Caine is a sort of washed up playwright, and Christopher Reeve is one of his former students.
Okay.
Who sends him a play that he wrote for feedback, and Michael Caine is like, "This is excellent, and no one knows this guy. I'm going to kill him and steal his play." And it goes from there, and it's really fucking good.
All right.
I think it's Sidney Lumet directed that one.
I've heard of it. I've not seen it.
It's well worth watching.
All right, I'll check it out.
Yeah. Anyway, Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kids.
Yep.
Really good.
Yep. Classic for a reason.
Lives up to the hype.
Yep. Anything making you happy this week?
I gave in on something that I've been holding out on for a long time.
All right.
I have up until this past weekend avoided buying any of the 7-inch McFarlane DC Multiverse action figures.
Okay. Just why?
Just I have bought so many characters in so many scales.
Okay.
So many times. And there came a point where I was just like, you know what, I'm just going to stick with 5-inch scale.
Okay.
You know, superpowers scale. Then they're doing like classic style figures in a couple different lines now. I'm like, great, I'll just buy those and I'll customize my figures and make some of my own and be happy with that. And then I went to Target on Saturday and I found the Jay Garrick Flash and Impulse figures from the McFarlane Multiverse line, and I'm not made of stone. So I bought those.
Alright.
But they're real nice. They're really good figures. And I thought that because I'm used to 6-inch scale, like DC Classics was 6-inch scale.
Yeah.
And I thought these would feel sort of unwieldy and bulky, and they don't feel that way at all. They're really nicely done figures, really well sculpted. I know you have a few of them.
Couple, yeah.
And so I guess I guess giving in to toys is the thing that's making me happy this week.
That's good.
It's something.
I did not know there was an Impulse figure. I've seen pictures of the Jake Garrick figure. But,
Yeah. The Impulse is, I guess, somewhat hard to find.
Okay.
So I was like, well, if I don't get it now, I might never get it. Might never find it again. So,
I've been there.
Yeah. So yeah, it was a crime of opportunity, and I plead guilty. What about you, sir?
Nothing.
No.
Yeah, I am exhausted.
It's been a long week.
It's been a long couple of weeks.
Yeah.
It's catching up, and I am tired. I guess if anything, I am happy that I get to just remain home tonight.
That is really nice.
And possibly take a nap. That's it.
Napping is great.
Yeah, that is literally all I have right now.
I read an article earlier today that said that taking naps can be beneficial for problem solving.
Okay.
So, if you need to justify taking a nap, you'd be like, well, I'm working on my problem solving skills.
Okay. I don't necessarily have any problems at the moment, but other than just tired.
Well, it must be nice, Mr. No Problems over here.
Well, everything in my life is otherwise perfect. I guess if I had to actually pick something real to recommend,
yes,
I read the first issue of Peacemaker Tries Hard.
Yeah,
and that was just a fucking delight.
It was great. It was really great. I haven't watched any of the TV show.
Okay.
But I understand the tone is very similar.
Incredibly similar.
So, reading that made me want to watch the show. Because, it's a great comic.
Yep. They are spiritually very much the same. So, yeah. So I guess that is what made me happy this past week.
That's nice. I like that.
In addition to not having any problems whatsoever.
Son of a bitch.
Do you have a movie for us?
Oh boy. Do I? Yes, I do. Yes, I do. I'm hoping you haven't seen it already.
Okay.
I would like to watch The Black Phone.
Okay.
Have you seen that?
I have.
Okay.
It's been a while. I would totally watch that.
Nice.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, I don't really know anything about it other than there's a creepy mask.
Sure.
And that's enough for me.
Okay.
And apparently, I would assume there's also a phone that's black. And maybe you get bad phone calls from it? I don't know.
Yeah, sort of.
Okay. Yeah. Perfect. All right. Yeah. The Black Phone.
All right. I'm looking forward to seeing it again.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing it for a first time.
Yay.
And we'll do that next week.
Goodbye, everybody.
Goodbye.
Thank you for listening to The Viewmasters. You can subscribe to the show directly at view.guttertrash.net or at iTunes and leave us a review. Visit view.guttertrash.net for email information and links to Facebook and Twitter. We'll see you next time on The Viewmasters.